Wheeling is a city in Marshall and Ohio counties in the U.S. state of West Virginia. Located almost entirely in Ohio County, of which it is the county seat, it lies along the Ohio River in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Wheeling was originally a settlement in the British colony of Virginia and later an important city in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Wheeling was the first state capital of West Virginia, thanks to its location along major transportation routes, including the Ohio River, National Road, and the B&O Railroad. Wheeling became a manufacturing center in the late 19th century. After experiencing the closing of factories and substantial population loss following World War II, Wheeling's major industries now include healthcare, education, law and legal services, entertainment and tourism, and energy. Wheeling is the principal city of the Wheeling Metropolitan Statistical Area. As of the 2010 census, the Wheeling, West Virginia MSA had a population of 147,950, and the city had a population of 28,486. History. Arrival of early Europeans. The origins of the name of Wheeling are disputed. One of the more credible explanations is that the word comes from the Lenni-Lenape phrase "wih link," which meant place of the head. This supposedly referred to a white settler who was scalped and decapitated. His severed head was displayed at the confluence of Wheeling Creek and the Ohio River. The area had been inhabited by Native Americans for thousands of years. In the 17th century, the Iroquois from present-day New York State conquered the upper Ohio Valley, pushing out other tribes and maintaining the area as their hunting ground. Originally explored by the French, Wheeling still has a lead plate remnant buried by the explorer St. Laurent de Blainville in 1749 at the mouth of Wheeling Creek to mark their claim. Later, Christopher Gist and George Washington surveyed the land, in 1751 and 1770, respectively. Establishment of European settlement. During the fall of 1769, Ebenezer Zane explored the Wheeling area and established claim to the land via tomahawk rights. He returned the following spring with his wife Elizabeth and his younger brothers, Jonathan and Silas. They established the first permanent European settlement in the Wheeling area, naming it Zanesburg. Other families joined the settlement, including the Shepherds, the Wetzels, and the McCullochs. In 1787, the United States gave Virginia, this portion of lands west of the Appalachians, and Sumter, Pennsylvania at its western edge, to settle their claims. By the Northwest Ordinance that year, it established the Northwest Territory to cover other lands north of the Ohio River and west to the Mississippi River. Settlers began to move into new areas along the Ohio. In 1793, Ebenezer Zane divided the town into lots, and Wheeling was officially established as a town in 1795 by legislative enactment. The town was incorporated January 16, 1805. On March 11, 1836, the town of Wheeling was incorporated into the city of Wheeling. By an act of the Virginia General Assembly on December 27, 1797, Wheeling was named the county seat of Ohio County. Fort Henry, originally dubbed Fort Fincastle in 1774, the fort was later renamed Fort Henry in honor of Virginia's American governor, Patrick Henry. In 1777, Native Americans of the Shawnee, Wyandot and Mingo tribes joined to attack pioneer settlements along the upper Ohio River, which were illegal according to the Crown's proclamation of 1763. They hoped an alliance with the British would drive the colonial settlers out of their territory. Local men, later joined by recruits from Fort Shepherd and Fort Holiday, defended the fort. The native force burned the surrounding cabins and destroyed livestock. During the first attack of the year, Major Samuel McCulloch led a small force of men from Fort Van Meter along Short Creek to assist the besieged Fort Henry. Separated from his men, McCulloch was chased by attacking Indians. Upon his horse, McCulloch charged up Wheeling Hill and made what is known as McCulloch's Leap 300 feet down its eastern side. In 1782, a native army along with British soldiers attempted to take Fort Henry. During this siege, Fort Henry's supply of ammunition was exhausted. The defenders decided to dispatch a man to secure more ammunition from the Zane homestead. Betty Zane volunteered for the dangerous task. During her departing runs, she was heckled by both native and British soldiers. After reaching the Zane homestead, she gathered a tablecloth and filled it with gunpowder. During her return, she was fired upon but was uninjured. As a result of her heroism, Fort Henry remained in American control. As transportation hub, the National Road arrived in Wheeling in 1818, linking the Ohio River to the Potomac River, and allowing goods from the Ohio Valley to flow through Wheeling and on to points east. As the endpoint of National Road, Wheeling became a gateway to early Western expansion. In 1849, the Wheeling Suspension Bridge crossed the Ohio River and allowed the city to expand onto Wheeling Island. Lessons learned constructing the bridge were used in the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge. Rail transportation reached Wheeling in 1853 when the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad connected Wheeling to Pennsylvania, Maryland and markets in the Northeast. A bridge over the river connected it to Bel Air, Ohio and western areas. Anti-slavery sentiment. Much of this area had been settled by yeoman farmers, few of whom owned slaves. With the railroad, a larger industrial or mercantile middle class developed that depended on free labor. It either felt disinterest or hostility to slavery. The Wheeling Intelligencer newspaper expressed the area's anti-secession sentiment as tensions rose over slavery and national issues. The city became part of the movement of western areas to secede from Virginia after the beginning of the Civil War. It was the location of the aforementioned Wheeling Convention. It served as the provisional capital of the restored government of Virginia from 1861 to 1863, and became the first capital of West Virginia after it seceded from Virginia and was admitted to the Union in its own right in 1863. The growing German population, which included immigrants after the 1848 revolutions, was firmly anti-slavery. The Germans of Wheeling organized the 1st West Virginia Artillery to oppose the Confederacy and played a role in the initial movement to separate from Virginia. The Germans' culture influenced the city, such as their German singing societies, the first of which began in 1855. Post-Civil War growth. Although Wheeling lost its position as capital in 1865, it continued to grow. In the late 19th century, it served as a prime industrial center for the state. Noted businesses of the era included the Block Brothers Tobacco Company and steel concerns. As it grew, prosperous residents built an area of fine housing around Wheeling Island, but slums also grew. With industry, Wheeling reached its peak of population in 1930. The Great Depression, and later changes and restructuring in heavy industry following World War II, led to a loss of working-class jobs and population. Capitalizing on its rich architectural heritage, Wheeling has worked to revive its Main Street and heritage tourism activities near the Ohio River. In addition, West Virginia has constructed fiber optics networks for advanced communication. Wheeling is becoming a center in health services and education as well. Geography. Wheeling is located at 40 degrees 4 minutes 13 seconds north, 80 degrees 41 minutes 55 seconds west, 40.07028 degrees north, 80.69861 degrees west, 40.07028, minus 80.69861. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 16.01 square miles, of which 13.79 square miles is land and 2.22 square miles is water. Wheeling is located in northern West Virginia, on what is known as the Northern Panhandle. The area lies within the ecoregion of the Western Allegheny Plateau. The city is directly across the river from the state of Ohio and only 11 miles west of Pennsylvania. It is a part of the tri-state area of Ohio, Pennsylvania and West Virginia. which is commonly referred to as the Ohio River Valley region or the Ohio Valley. Wheeling Creek flows through the city, and meets the Ohio River in downtown Wheeling. The city is located both on the West Virginia side of the Ohio River, and on an island in the middle of the river called Wheeling Island. Climate: Wheeling lies on the transitional climate zone between the humid temperate climate and the humid continental climate, with hot humid summers and cold winters. The annual precipitation is about 37 inches. Demographics: 2010 census. As of the census of 2010, there were 28,486 people, 12,816 households, and 6,949 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,065.7 inhabitants per square mile. There were 14,661 housing units at an average density of 1,063.2 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 91.2% white, 5.1% African American, 0.2% Native American, 0.9% Asian, 0.2% from other races, and 2.4% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 0.9% of the population. There were 12,816 households, of which 22.6% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 37.6% were married couples living together. 12.7% had a female householder with no husband present. 4.0% had a male householder with no wife present, and 45.8% were non-families. 40.4% of all households were made up of individuals, and 17.5% had someone living there alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.11 and the average family size was 2.84. The median age in the city was 45.2 years. 18.5% of residents were under the age of 18, 9.4% were between the ages of 18 and 24, 21.8% were from 25 to 44, 29.8% were from 45 to 64, and 20.6% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 46.9% male and 53.1% female. 2000 census. As of the census of 2000, there were 31,419 people, 13,719 households, and 7,806 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,258.4 people per square mile. There were 15,706 housing units at an average density of 1,128.9 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 92.72% white, 4.99% African American, 0.10% Native American, 0.91% Asian, 0.03% Pacific Islander, 0.16% from other races, and 1.09% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 0.58% of the population. There were 13,719 households, out of which 23.4% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 41.8% were married couples living together. 12.2% had a female householder with no husband present, and 43.1% were non-families. 38.3% of all households were made up of individuals, and 18.6% had someone living there alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.17 and the average family size was 2.89. In the city, the population was spread out with 20.6% under the age of 18, 9.1% from 18 to 24, 24.3% from 25 to 44, 24.5% from 45 to 64, and 21.6% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 42 years. For every 100 females there were 84.1 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 79.6 males. The median income for a household in the city was $27,388, and the median income for a family was $38,708. Males had a median income of $30,750 versus $22,099 for females. The per capita income for the city was $17,923. About 13.1% of families and 18.0% of the population were below the poverty line, including 23.3% of those under age 18 and 11.2% of those age 65 or over. Government. Under West Virginia law, cities may adopt the manager-mayor plan. The elected mayor presides over meetings of the Wheeling City Council, which has 6 members elected from geographic wards. City council members serve 4-year terms. The City Council also confirms executive nominations for members to various boards which have limited regulatory authority, including the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, and the Traffic Commission. The city manager serves as chief executive and administrative officer for the city. The current mayor of Wheeling is Andy McKenzie, and the current city manager of Wheeling is Robert Heron. The current members of City Council are Gloria Delbrugge, Ken Imer, Robert E. Huck Henry, David Miller, Don Atkinson, and Vice Mayor Eugene Fay. City elections were held on May 8, 2012, and the current term began on July 1, 2012. City elections will be held again in 2016. Attractions. Historical buildings. The city of Wheeling has a rich and varied history. West Virginia Independence Hall was the site of the Wheeling Convention. 2 meetings held in 1861 that ultimately reversed Virginia's Ordinance of Secession. 26 counties in Virginia's North and West voted against secession from the Union and created the new state of West Virginia, which the United States quickly admitted. Later in 1861 and continuing to 1863, the building was the site of many heated debates during the first Constitutional Convention of West Virginia, including the name of the new state. Wheeling is home to Center Market, formerly Wheeling's Market House. Built in 1853, the market house and the surrounding area have been adapted for use as retail shops and restaurants. The first official memorial monument in the state of West Virginia, dedicated specifically to men killed in the Vietnam War, was dedicated in Wheeling, with full military honors, in a Memorial Day 1986 ceremony. The monument was erected in front of the flagpole near the main shelter of Bethlehem Community Park in the village of Bethlehem, just southeast of Wheeling. The roughly 6-foot-tall granite memorial consists of a large, bronze dedication plaque with the names of KIAs from the Wheeling, Ohio County region. Below the dedication plaque is a bronze map of South Vietnam, complete with names of 28 major cities. Parks and Recreation. Wheeling features several municipal parks including Ogle Bay Resort and Conference Center and Wheeling Park. Ohio County has 6 golf courses, including designs by renowned golfer Arnold Palmer and architect Robert Trent Jones. The Wheeling Suspension Bridge, which was once the longest suspension bridge in the world, connects downtown Wheeling to Wheeling Island. In October 2007, the city of Wheeling opened the state's first concrete skateboard park. The 12,000-square-foot facility was designed and built by world-renowned skate park builder, Grindline, of Seattle, Washington. The park consists of 60% bowls and 40% street elements. It is located within the Chambers Ballfield complex in the Elm Grove section of the city. An addition to the streets section of the park was completed by Grindline in November 2009. A covered shelter, restrooms, and webcam is scheduled to be installed in early 2010. The park is lighted and open 24/7. Education. K-12 is elsewhere in West Virginia. K-12 schools are organized at the county level of government. The public school system, Ohio County Schools, consists of 14 schools, 9 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, which include Triadelphia Middle, which has been nominated for the Blue Ribbon School Award, and the nationally recognized Wheeling Park High School. Several parochial and private schools, including Wheeling Central Catholic High School and the Lindsley School, are located in the city. Colleges and universities. Wheeling is the hub of higher education in the northern panhandle of West Virginia. Wheeling Jesuit University, a private Jesuit university and the only Catholic college in the state of West Virginia, is located here. The main campus of West Virginia Northern Community College has recently been expanding with centers in downtown Wheeling. It focuses on job training and community development. Also located within close proximity to the city are West Liberty University, a 4-year university, and private Bethany College, giving area residents a wide variety of educational options.